first, one of our legal eagles here on the Chris Salcedo Show, Byron Henry. He is a legal expert from Scheef and Stone right here in North Texas. Hey, Byron, welcome back.
Glad to be with you, Chris.
So we wanted to go over this special counsel through nuts and bolts, but let me start off on a political note if I can. Because many, not just me, have observed that what Donald Trump is accused of doing and what people who surround him are accused of doing, the previous administration was actually confirmed to have done. But no special counsel was even called for by Republicans, much less a snowball's chance in Hades of being granted by the Democrats. Now you get the Republicans in office, and all of a sudden we got a special counsel 3 months in to President Trump's administration. Comment on that, if you will.
Well, certainly there were a lot of allegations of some untoward behavior that cried out for something more independent during President Obama's administration than the Attorney General that actually served at his pleasure, of course. And there was rarely, I mean, the Republicans called for one on multiple occasions and actually had congressional investigations running, with whether it was with respect to the Benghazi incident or whether it was respect to the gun incident by basically releasing guns to these cartels that ended up killing Americans in these border wars and drug wars with Mexican cartels.
Fast and furious.
But what's more interesting about this, and what I think is being missed, is that this is not an investigation of President Trump. First of all, it's an investigation of Russian interference with the 2016 election, which includes whether or not anybody in President Trump's campaign had contacts or some sort of collusion, which hasn't really been defined what collusion would be, but collusion. But it also opens up everything with respect to the DNC and everything the Russians, if the Russians were even involved. I don't think it's even been confirmed that all of the hacks and the emails in the election of 2016 were even done by the Russians.
Well, I know you've got Seth Rich, who was murdered, and he is confirmed by authorities to have been one of the sources for the DNC emails. I mean, and he was murdered. None of his stuff was taken, and he was a big Bernie Sanders supporter, and he was killed. And they have confirmed that he was dishing Democrat emails to WikiLeaks. I mean, but that doesn't get talked about by ABC, NBC, CBS, or CNN. Your point about Donald Trump not even being accused of collusion, not under investigation, that's all well and good, but those of us who know how these things have gone in the past, Scooter Libby wasn't at all implicated in the outing of Valerie Plame, but he was taken down and 2 years in prison for something completely unrelated, and that's the big worry.
Certainly. I mean, if Robert Mueller, former Director Mueller, finds evidence of some kind of crime being committed in the Trump administration while he's investigating this, then of course that needs to be brought to light. I mean, we don't need a special counsel, which I don't think former Director Mueller is going to just go rooting around for things. I think he will hew to his mandate, and that is to investigate Russia's involvement in the 2016 presidential election. If that includes evidence that there were Democratic officials talking to Russians or other candidates or people in the Obama administration, then I think that will all come to light as well. And if it's proven that, you know, President Trump's campaign officials were carrying messages back and forth to Russia or trying to coordinate leaks of emails of the DNC, that'll come to light as well. My point is simply that President Trump, no person, let alone President Trump, has been accused of any crime, and I'm not even sure I've ever heard what the crime would be articulated, even if everything comes to fruition that's being reported. It's more of a political hit job to continue the story and to continue the negative press for President Trump so that this can dog his administration and keep him from going forward with his agenda, is what it looks like to me is mainly a political issue that could hurt him if some of his campaign associates are thought to have done something untoward with respect to our presidential election.
The FBI, by the way, Byron Henry, our guest right now with Scheef and Stone, a law firm. He's one of our legal experts here on the Chris Salcedo Show. The FBI has been investigating Donald Trump and his campaign for over a year now. And Democrats, every single time they get in front of the camera, are forced to answer the question, we have no evidence of wrongdoing. No evidence of wrongdoing. No, and that has been the case, and it's my view it's going to continue to be the case. But what we're witnessing, and I think you hit on it, this is a temper tantrum from Democrats whose political base can't accept that they've lost an election. and they are willing to burn down faith in our institutions, continue the burning down of faith in our institutions that had begun under the previous administration, and they're willing to lay it all to dust simply because they can't stomach having somebody that wasn't their choice inside of the Oval Office. And I can imagine, Byron, this conversation taking place with the Deputy Attorney General. Man, look at what's going on around the country. I mean, the country is tearing itself apart. We have to give in for a special investigation just so these Democrats don't tear the country apart. And I can imagine something like that, a conversation like that taking place. And what does it say about where we are?
Well, I think there's 2 points that you make there that are very important. First of all, let's just consider this. Had President Trump not fired Director Comey, he would have completed the investigation. And in a way, that brought this about. So President Trump brought the special counsel on himself by firing the acting director. But in a way, the Democrats who now are complaining about Director Comey being fired actually wanted him fired and wouldn't have trusted him anyway. So it's actually a benefit in the long run for President Trump and the Republican Party to have someone the Democrats have said is fair and impartial and nonpartisan, because they wouldn't have accepted Director Comey's results anyway because they don't trust him and they think that he single-handedly cost their candidate Hillary Clinton the election. So in a way, Mueller's investigation will have much more credibility on both sides of the aisle and with the media, by the way. So it's, in a way, it benefits President Trump. So however you want to characterize his handling of the firing of Director Comey, in the end it might end up helping him because you are actually going to get someone that is somewhat independent outside the chain of command investigating this and putting it to bed. And you made another good point. This has been going on for over a year. Remember, this started in July of 2016. Therefore, this investigation is already well on its way. And remember, there's also 2 congressional investigations going on. Those committees are not going to cease their work, so they'll have access to the same information that mostly the same information that former Director Mueller will have in his investigation. So it will also be run from both the Senate and the House. So there won't be any, this secret investigation and specific leaks out of that investigation because the political branches also have the information for their own investigation. So there is some control here. It's not like former Director Mueller is in complete control of everything Russia-related because 2 congressional committees are also looking into it.
Byron, very quickly, how long, I know tea leaves, how long will this take?
I believe it's months, not years. I suspect it would be wrapped up. My
right.
off-the-cuff guess talking is probably months. I would say no longer than 6 months, especially since the investigation's been going on and it's yielded such little results with respect to any criminal conduct.
Gotcha. All right, Scheef and Stone, folks, that's who he's with. Byron Henry, one of the legal eagles here on the Chris Salcedo Show. Always appreciate your expertise, sir.
Anytime, Chris.
All right, folks, back in a minute. The Chris Salcedo Show will get your calls in on WBAP.